Happy 4th of July, everybody. This is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about The Last Ship, Season 3. So it's been a while, actually a whole year to this day, since I talked about The Last Ship, Season 2. And The Last Ship was an amazing show on TNT. And it was executive produced by Michael Bay. And it's based off a book of William Brentley. And it deals with the last naval ship in America that's dealing after an apocalyptic event. In the books, it's nuclear fallout. In the show, it's a virus. So this third season came out in 2016. Now, normally I don't give the year of what season a show comes out. But the reason why I'm doing it this time is because it could be a little triggering for people. Like I said before in season 1 and season 2. Season 1, 2, and 3 deal with a super virus that takes out half the world. And so this show came out before COVID and everything. Also, a reason why I'm giving out the year is because of the country that's the antagonist of this season happens to be China. So, super virus China, this is before COVID, remember, and stuff like that. So some people might get like triggered, or some people might think this show is based on what happened with COVID, but it is not. So, with this show, I remember the third season was actually the first season I ever watched on TV and everything. And so when watching this show, and then when I decided to rewatch it on Hulu, because you can watch this, I believe it might still be on Hulu, but it is also on HBO Max. Also, you can buy it on DVD. You can buy the individual seasons or the entire box set. My recommendation is buying the entire box set because it's a heck of a lot cheaper for some bizarre reason. The individual seasons are a lot of stinking money. Why? I have no idea. But anyways, when I started watching the third season for the first time and then I rewatched the entire series, I was shocked to find this one actress in season 1 and 2. And she's one of the main characters of season 1 and 2. And so I'll get to her in a little bit later. So this third season is very action-packed, just like the other seasons and stuff. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. I love how each episode ends on a major cliffhanger that makes you keep coming back over and over. Now, season 3 got 13 episodes. And like with this, there's like a huge major twist at the end of the last 3 episodes and stuff. However, there is a problem with this show in its entirety. The main problem with this show is that it tends to rehash plot lines that have already happened before. In fact, the entirety of this season is basically a rewrite of both season 1 and season 2 plots. It deals with like the super virus, the red flu, but it also deals with a coup. Yes, once again, somebody in the U.S. military or U.S. government is trying to take over the country. This has happened too many times. They planned a coup at the end of season 1 that led into the beginning of season 2. And once again, it has happened. It will also happen in other seasons and stuff. I'm just kind of like, dude, y'all gotta think of something different. Which is probably why the last 2 seasons had only 10 episodes and the show ended after the 5th. That and the main lead star, Eric Dane, who was multiple man in the third X-Men movie, he's a producer on the show. In 2017, during the 4th season, he was battling depression and production had to be halted. And, there was probably also some stuff going on, like, his personal life, like demons and like his marriage and stuff. He used to be married to Rebecca Gayheart. Boy, I had a massive crush on her in the 90s and everything. I had to remember what decade it was. I don't remember seeing her in the 2000s, but I remember seeing her a lot in the 90s. She was in Urban Legends. So, with that going on and them constantly retreading the same plot lines, and I don't know, man. Season 4 is weird. The only thing, because I only seen season 4 and season 5 once, and I'm about to rewatch them again. The only thing I remember about season 4 is the actor who plays RoboCop, them making giant food with hormones in them, and people taking not hormones, but it's like steroid hormones or something like that, and people taking that and they become like rabid fighters and stuff like that. I just remember season 4 being odd. That's all I remember. I have to rewatch that very soon. And so it didn't really do that for me. Another problem that this show tends to have, especially in this season, is character development. The crew of the Nathan Jones, which is the naval ship, none of their officers get any kind of character development after season 1 and season 2. Some people get promoted, but there is no real defining character development. Pretty much characters are exactly the way they were in the last 2 seasons and stuff. And because, a couple of months have passed since the second season. And so for the most part, they're exactly the way they are. They have stuff to do, but there's no real defining character development, really. And it is a bummer because you want to know what they've been going through, what's happening with them, how their personalities might change and stuff like that. But the character growth in this season is pretty much relegated to the new characters introduced. I get it. You have to introduce these new characters and, give them something to do and what they're about and stuff like that. So I totally understand, but it came at the price of the crew not getting no character development. Another thing that bums the crap out of me personally is how they treat their black characters. I've said this before, when it comes to the black characters on this show, do not get attached. Either in later seasons or whatever seasons they die, or they get slightly written off because they got hurt and now they're taken out for the entirety of the season and everything. Or they just don't have much to do, or they're always apologizing. Oh, I'm so sorry for doing this. It's my fault. It's not your fault. Stop apologizing and stuff. But what really bugs me is when they just straight up kill them off and everything. One thing that really bugs me about this season is there are 2 characters from the previous seasons. They do not appear until the last 3 episodes of this season and don't get attached. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm just like, dude, what up? And everything. Now, this show has a lot of good action and everything. There's a lot of good, intense, gun shooting and stuff like that. Not that much with the missiles this season, sadly. But yeah, man, the gunfire is intense. You really feel that hot octane, action and stuff like that. There isn't much hand-to-hand combat, but Wolf is kicking some major behind. Sadly, like I said, there isn't that much missile fire this season and stuff like that. There's a little, but not that much. It's more of a personal, grounded, season and stuff like that. But nevertheless, it is, one of the better seasons and everything until you get to the last 2 and it starts to dip in quality a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Another thing that's odd about this season is the love interest, man. It's Dude, your wife literally died last season, and now you got the eyes for somebody else. And it's like, dude, your love interest, who you've been trying to get so bad in the last season, it died in the last season, and now you're already hitting on somebody new. And then it's like, dude, your girlfriend died this season, and now you're kind of giving the look to somebody else. I'm like, what is going on? I get being horny. And everything and being out to sea for so many months, but come on now. Now, the one thing that was kind of a shocker and kind of not a shocker was that of Rachel Scott. Yes, she did meet her demise at the end of season 2. Now, it's a little bit of a shocker for me and a little bit of a not, because like I said, I went into season 3 being my very first season. And then when I rewatched the show, I was surprised to see this actress. Now I've seen this actress in plenty of stuff. And I was surprised that, like, she was in the first 2 seasons. I'm like, well, what the heck happened to her? And I'm like, oh, wait, she's dead? So yes, that one dude did shoot and kill her. And that dude survived and now is arrested. I can't believe they killed her. They bring her up a lot in this season. And so, like, I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but for whatever reason, she was killed and written off. And I don't know if, like, because it's weird, because when you read stuff online and you hear like the executive producers and writers and showrunners talk about her, they got nothing but high praise, and it made it seem like she's coming back for a 3rd season. But then this 3rd season happens and she's not here. So maybe there was behind the scenes drama. Maybe she took a gig someplace else. Maybe she was filming another show or movie. Nobody knows, but it's just and nobody will comment on this at all, especially her. Like, she will not talk about why she's no longer in the show and stuff. So, yeah. And so since there isn't that much character development and stuff like that, there's really no point in going over every character in this season, because there are a lot of characters. Because for the most part, they just don't do nothing. I'll just give you the gist of like some from like last season that like are doing things a little bit differently this season, and the new characters, and then I'll get overall and what this entire season is about. It was a doozy of a season, man. So just to give you a quick rundown of some of these people. Like, I forget her name right here, but she was like that hacker person from like season 2 that they rescued and everything, and she didn't want to believe what Chandler was saying, but then she laid on and she helped them. Apparently she's still working for them and everything. And so apparently off screen, her and Wolf had a relationship. She's with Chandler in the helicopter, but he got off to deal with some an incident that happened in, I think, Vietnam, I think it was. And so she realizes something's going on with her computer. Somebody's trying to hack through it, and something strange is going on. That there's interference coming from another foreign country. So she tries to get the pilot to turn around, but a missile takes out the helicopter and she dies. And so Wolf is pissed, and he just wants to kill every person that's responsible for her death. I didn't even know those two was in a relationship. Like, it's just kind of odd, you know what I'm saying? Ray Diaz, he is probably about 18 now, and he did enlist in the military and stuff, because last season he was a 17-year-old kid who was the leader of, like, taking care of these kids and teenagers when the pandemic got really bad. And so he later joined the crew to help them out when he later got betrayed by his supply contractor and stuff. So he is now enlisted and stuff. Kathleen, she is played by Jade Shonowitz, and she is the daughter of Tech, the one he found at the end of season 2. Pretty much she's just hanging out with him because they work for this lady named Roberta Price, but Roberta Price later betrayed them and stuff. So she's helping her father out to help the new president and stuff like that. Now, she might look familiar. She is a phenomenal dancer. That is her main thing. She dances and stuff. And like she's also a really good fighter. There's a YouTube video of her in a skit where she's fighting these guys at a clothing store. She did all her own stunts, even the tumbling and stuff. When I say she's a phenomenal dancer, boy, I mean she is an amazing dancer. Acting wise is not her forte. I don't know how her acting is now, but I've only seen her in this, and it's just kind of not really there because she's a dancer, not an actress and stuff. But I know she still acts in other stuff. She was in, I think, what was it? Was it Save the Last Dance, that YouTube show or something like that, based on? No, wait. There was some dancing movie that came out years ago, and then they started making sequels on DVD, and then YouTube made a show out of it. She was in that. I don't know how her acting is in that because I never watched the show. Now that the Nathan James is not the only naval ship in the U.S. anymore, now we have Captain Malin, and he was the captain on board the Hayward, but it was destroyed by the Chinese and stuff. And so his role in the show is like he's a captain, but like he later takes over to Nathan Jones because he's giving false orders from the people who planned out the coup in America, but he has no idea. But he doesn't take command of it very long because Chandler is the man and he took it back. And everything. Lieutenant Commander Cameron Burke. He is the brother of Carlton Burke, who's also a commander, but his brother is higher ranking than him. He is the new commander under Slattery and everything. Slattery is the new captain of the Nathan James because Chandler is still a captain, but he's the chief of naval operations and stuff. And so when Slattery and some other crew members are taken hostage and everything by the Japanese, he's acting captain, but he makes a fatal error when he starts to see the Japanese ships come towards Vietnam and everything. When his crew members at the nightclub, he didn't inform the captain and stuff, and as a result they got taken. So when Chandler came aboard and took over, he made Granderson his commanding officer and not him. This pisses him off and everything. And him and his brother don't have much interaction because his brother is pretty much taken out of the entire season for getting shot in the leg. See, I told you, black folks always end up getting shot, taken out the show, or like they get demoted or they get killed. I hate that. Cara Green, who's still a commander, but she now works alongside the chief of staff and like the president and stuff. She has a desk job after giving birth. Daniel has not seen his son, period, like at all, because she gave birth on land and he's been out at sea. So like she's working closely with the president. I think she's like chief of staff or something like that. And so like she's working closely, but then when she sees the coup happening and everything, they try to take her out. So she later partners with Tech and, you know, to save like the president and everything. At the end of the season, Daniel finally gets to see his son and stuff. Oh, okay. Cara is the deputy chief of state. All right. So I knew she was something, but, you know, I knew she was something. Jacob Barnes is just a typical media news kind of guy who's always trying to find out the truth, no matter what type of harm it could cause and everything. He is really digging into the past of the president who, remember, brought his infected son into like a shelter that killed tons of people. And so he's trying to uncover everything he can about this new president and trying to tell the American people that America and China aren't getting along with each other when the government's trying to keep that hush hush. Dr. Rios has been promoted to an ensign, and he takes over for that of Rachel Scott, but he's not as smart as she is. When dealing with the virus, he finds her notes and he's able to figure out what's been going on in all these Asian countries where the virus and where the cure is not working for the virus and stuff. Jessie, she's a friend of Sasha's and she's able to fly a helicopter. At first, she's working over in China, helping to give out the cure, and so something happened between her and Sasha that caused her to be pissed at Sasha, to where Jesse's friends end up dying or something like that. She's reluctant at first to like join the Nathan James and everything, but then Grandison is able to convince her to stay. And so she pretty much like her only purpose in the show is just to fly the helicopter whenever they need it flown. Once like, the enemy is taken out, she goes back to like giving out the cure to other countries and stuff. One thing they never explain is why she has an Australian accent. But like that's because the actress, is Australian and everything. Michael O'Connor, just like with Tech, he doesn't appear until like the last three episodes. And so like after he was on the Nathan James for the first two seasons, he later transferred to two other ships. And when they took over the Nathan James, he helped the Nathan James retake back their ship and then later rejoining them. Tech. After the season 2 finale, apparently he went MIA and started working for Roberta. And so, like, he later found his daughter at the end of season 2. And he left the Nathan James because he was upset about Rachel's death. Because he had feelings for her. He kind of blamed Chandler a little bit because, he had... it's hinted that Chandler might have had feelings, or at least a high appreciation of that of Rachel. And so when Cara needs his help, he helps her out to help rescue that of the president. Sasha Cooper. Boy, what a great addition to this show. And she is played by Bridget Regan. And I'm a massive Bridget Regan fan. I first saw her in Legend of the Seeker, and she did an amazing job in that. Then the next thing I saw her in was Agent Carter. And she was also awesome in that, when she played Dottie and everything. And so the third thing I saw her in was this. Then she played Poison Ivy in the Batwoman show. And a lot of people did not like her portrayal as Poison Ivy. And that's because it wasn't written very well. And she did an okay job, but she did seem kind of out of place. But, it's the CW, so they can't write over there. So, you know how it is. But, like, it's one of those things I kept telling people who kept criticizing her acting in Batwoman. I'm like, look. Watch her in Legend of the Seeker, watch her in Agent Carter, and watch her in The Last Ship, and you will shut your mouth about her acting, because the woman can act and everything. And so she can speak 5 languages. She is a naval intelligence officer. And so she's also a former lover of Chandler before he got married. And so she's in China helping on diplomatic mission and stuff like that. When things go bad, she joins the Nathan James. But her and Chandler don't always get along. She is the only person who will outright question his authority in front of his crew. And he doesn't like it, and he will put her in her place. She is also, when talking to him privately, she will speak her mind and not get permission and stuff. Basically, they kind of restart their romance a little bit because they kiss like twice in the show, and it's kind of like, dude, your wife just died last season. What's up with that? And so, like, pretty much she's really good at hand-to-hand combat. She's really good at firing a gun. Like, she's just an awesome character, and I'm so glad they introduced her in this show. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the other characters much later when I talk about like the rest of the season. So basically, this season is still dealing with the red flu virus. The cure is working around the world except for certain Asian countries and stuff, and nobody knows why. The US military believes China is holding the cure for themselves and not giving it to other countries. Um the new Chinese president is a man named Peng Wu. And so the Nathan James goes to investigate to see what's going on. And so while they're at a nightclub hanging out and partying and stuff in Vietnam, they get attacked by pirates from Japan. Over in Japan, the cure is not working for some bizarre reason, and there's a strange green mist going around. So, because of this, Captain Slantley and a couple of members of his crew, especially the high ranking officers and stuff, are taken captive for the first half of the season. And so, like, Chandler wants to go and investigate, but, like, the president doesn't want him to do it. But he decides, to convince the president anyways, and he goes and investigates. That's when his helicopter's blown up and that one girl dies and stuff. So now it's him and Wolf. They have to figure out what's going on, and then they meet Sasha. So Daniel Green and Carlton Burke, they were the only two not captive, so they had to fight their way back to the Nathan James and stuff. And so, like, basically, we find out that this Japanese former, like, naval officer or a captain or something like that, he is now the captain of these pirates. Takahawa is his name. And we don't know exactly why he's captured the Nathan James crew. And it's weird because he only wants their blood. And he's all like, your blood will keep us alive for like years and stuff like that. But it's like, why? Why exactly does he need their blood? And why isn't the cure working in Asian countries? And so it's later revealed that the cure does not work on people in Japan. And he thinks America is responsible for killing pretty much everybody in Japan. Japan and Vietnam are gone. And so nobody's left alive there except for like a few people that live on other islands and stuff like that, and pirates and stuff. So it's like, why isn't the cure working? And so, of course, the Nathan James prisoners, they ain't gonna stay prisoners for long. They're trying to find ways to escape. And so after they make their way out, like the garbage, like what is like the it's kind of like an outhouse chute type thing. And so they run as far as they can to find out where they're at, and they see a tower. And so they're able to send a message through like the tower and everything after they're recaptured. This alerts the Nathan James. And so, like, as they're mounting a rescue of them, the Nathan James, no matter where they go, they're always being attacked by the Chinese and stuff. And it's like, why? Why is the Chinese trying to kill the Nathan James crew and trying to kill that of Tom Chandler when it's the Japanese pirates that are the bad guys this season, right? So it turns out that Takahawa said that like they need the blood of people who have the cure in them, because that's the only thing that keeps them alive from dying from the red flu virus. And so, like, after, like, the Nathan James crew is rescued and the Japanese pirates are either all dead or taken captive because Takahawa and his wife, who's pregnant, is taken captive. They later find out, after doing some blood tests, that there's a weird mutation going on in their blood and that the cure is being blocked by this mutation. The red flu got mutated, but how exactly, right? Well, it's later revealed that the Chinese and the new Chinese president, Peng, is the one who mutated the virus and caused it to block the cure, creating an anti-cure. And so, but now the question is exactly like why, you know what I'm saying? And how is it that the Chinese soldiers are always finding a Nathan James? And so, like, Takahawa is now going to work with that of the Nathan James crew. They help give birth to his child, and his child takes the cure. He no longer believes America, well, at least Nathan James isn't trying to kill him, but somebody is and everything. And he knows China is trying to kill him and stuff. The new Chinese president, Ping Wu. So basically, he hates other like Asian countries and stuff. And he wants to commit genocide. So he's been withholding the cure. But not only that, but he caused the red flu virus to mutate. What he does is that he has these canisters, these little silver balls inside like a missile and everything, and he has smugglers smuggle them to other countries where his officers will unleash the plague upon like other like Asian countries. Sometimes these smugglers know exactly what they got and sometimes they don't. And he literally has like factories in other Asian countries building like, these like, mutated like virus and stuff. And like basically he just hates other Asian countries and he just wants to take them out. And remember that this new virus that mutated, it blocks that of the cure. So when these other Asian countries get this cure, they think, oh, it's not working and America's trying to kill us and stuff. He literally commits genocide to Vietnam and that of Japan. Before he can reach that of Korea, he is later stopped. And he has an American ally in the government, but nobody knows exactly who that is. That ally is the one who's giving away the Nathan James's like location and stuff. And so he is trying his best to like get rid of Chandler because of course if he doesn't, then America might have to go to war with that of China if this coup does not happen. Captain Tom Chandler is now the chief of naval operations. And so he is tasked with sending tons of naval ships other places because now there are more naval ships other than that of the Nathan James. This man is a literal hero who saved the entire world along with his crew. And so when things start happening to Nathan James that starts to feel a little fishy, he's back in action. And when he sees China is trying to kill him, he's trying to figure out why, despite the orders given by that of the president. And so like he literally is like, in like their eyes like Superman. And so he's very recognizable. And so when Sasha tells him like, man, you can't lead this like covert like mission, like, in this one Asian country because everybody knows what you look like. He doesn't care. He wants to be the one who like leads like, his team and everything. And he does like everything. Like every time they get close to like trying to figure something out, here comes the Chinese government for some bizarre reason. And so like he has to go through like minefields in the water and like all kind of things. And as a result, he is losing so many of his crew members and stuff. When he later finds out that there's a coup going on in the American government, they frame him for all this bad stuff that's going on. The genocide in Japan, genocide in Vietnam, like, killing US senators and like this and that. So they even trick another captain to take over his ship. But he's too smart for that. Like he pretty much wants a court martial. And while that's going on, his members of the ship are retaking back the ship and everything. And when he later finds like a train that he originally thinks is like full of food and he's gonna blow up the tracks, he finds out tons of people are on there. Who put them there? The new regional leaders and stuff of America. Because now, like, four senators have decided, okay, let's just split America into four pieces and be like the region leader. And it's actually people in there. He thinks these people are slaves, but they're not. They're going to a place where they think is going to be better and they can have more food. This is part of that coup, tricking these people into thinking they're going to have something much, much better. And so, like, some people in America just do not trust him and stuff. So now he is tasked with taking out this new regime, the four, regional leaders and stuff. The four regional leaders are literally like some of the last remaining senators there are in America. And so the country is divided into four pieces, but they want to be able to control their region like a own company. They don't want to listen to that of the president of the United States anymore, and they form that of a coup. Missioner from last season became the president, and he was somebody who wasn't necessarily ready for the job because remember he got radicalized by those like bad guys in season 2. But Chandler convinces him that the country needs him and stuff. So, but the problem is the four regional leaders don't want to do anything he wants, and they oppose him every chance they are. Because he won't play ball, they want to get rid of him. After Jacob Barnes exposes him for like what happened to them people in the shelter, next thing you know, Missioner is dead, and it looks like he took his own life. So the vice president, the former mayor of St. Louis, takes over now as president. President Oliver has only been in office for 2 days, and he's trying to get the country back in shape, but there is a problem. The four regional leaders, once again, it is later discovered who is part of the coup. And so because of that, the person in charge is literally forcing him to write bills he doesn't want to and sign off on that one captain taking over to Nathan James. And that person is Chief of Staff Shaw. She literally wants to take over the country. She is helping the four regional leaders do it, but there's another twist. She doesn't even want them to help her. She has, once 2 of them are captured, one is killed. She kills the last remaining one, Roberta Price. And she literally wants to control that of the entire United States. Why? Because during the virus, her family survived, but there was like a man who just wanted food. So he ended up killing her entire family. And as a result, it caused her to go mad and want to do world domination. She is the one who had Mercenary killed, and she is literally forcing Oliver's hand by threatening to kill his family if he doesn't do what she wants. After a while, it is discovered by Carr that she is the one responsible for all this and leaking information to the Chinese government. In a huge showdown, her last card she has to play is kidnapping that of Chandler's family. We see his dad, the grandfather and everything, in one episode while he's trying to get the grandkids out the city, but it's revealed off screen he was murdered. When Tech helps Chandler, fort, the plan that Shaw has in place, because she has literally suspended the U.S. military, only putting certain personnel in charge of the military, and executing other generals and stuff. And these people are literally doing whatever she wants and stuff. But when Chandler finds out that she killed his father and took his family hostage, he loses it. Tech is trying to calm him down, but then reveals that he's been shot. When Tech dies, she starts taunting that of Chandler and everything, to the point where Chandler loses control and executes her. This causes Chandler to reevaluate the person that he is. In trying to save the world, he has led more Americans to their death. and it's something he just can't grapple with, to the point where he decides he's going to resign. Sasha is the only person who is trying to convince him not to resign, and she is the only person who refuses to salute him when he walks away. And so Slantley literally tells him, like, never look back, as he's like, leaving his troops and stuff, because everybody there respects the crap out of him. You know what I'm saying? Because he has literally saved the world more times than once. And the whole never look back thing, there's a reason why he said that. The showrunner revealed, because they have consultants with the military and stuff like that. Apparently there was this one female officer who like resigned, and when she did, either she resigned or a friend of hers did, and somebody literally said never look back as they saluted that person and stuff. And so, yes, he has resigned at the end of this season. Now, remember, there are 2 more seasons left, and I will talk about those very, very shortly. So, this was an extremely good season. Only problem is it lacks character development with a lot of the major supporting cast members and stuff. But another disappointment is that it just rehashes the same plots from like the other 2 seasons. But nevertheless, it is still an amazing season. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.